guys, how are you? This is Cliff. I'm K5DA. Welcome to the show. We have with us as well, we have
K7STJ, who's trying to figure out her phone.
Of course, we're tech people, so we figured out electronics. Good luck with that. But welcome to the show, and we're beaming to you from Las Vegas, Nevada. And if you'd like to watch this show, go to Go Live Vegas, the Facebook page, or YouTube, or download the app. I'm just reading off the page here, so. But welcome to the show, and we've got a lot of exciting things tonight. We've got a couple of guests. One is from Australia. His name is Corey. He's one of a big DXer down in Australia, and he's a wonderful person. He's part of our club. He's been with us from the very beginning with the Las Vegas DX Foundation, and we're really proud to have him as a member of our club. He builds his own antennas. He's kind of like a little micro genius down there in Australia. Very active, very much a gentleman, a nice guy too. Truly is, and been friends with him for quite a while. And I'm really been honored to know him. And we also have a gentleman. His name is Jesse, up in Canada, just outside Calgary, and he does something really wonderful. He does a thing in ham radio we call SOTA. It's sort of an activity that we participate in. We have lots of different classifications. His is called SOTA, S-O-T-A, Summits on the Air. So what he will do is take a portable station, and he'll go to a summit. Now he lives in the the Canadian North, I guess the Canadian West, if you will, the Rocky Mountains. So there's lots of nice, beautiful summits in that part of the world. And it's summertime, so he's able to pick a summit. He'll climb it, typically hike it, with all his radio equipment, his antennas, everything of that nature, and he'll go up there and he'll set up a station and try to make X amount of contacts to qualify for. He'll explain it to you. I don't know all the rules and everything that's the particulars of the SOTA, but we have SOTA, and then we have POTA, which is Parks on the Air. Super busy stuff. I mean, people are really active in that, and that's the Parks on the Air is. Any state or national park here in the United States, I guess. I'm not sure if it's worldwide. I think it's worldwide. Yeah, and so it's super popular. Take off, eh?
Wow.
Is that a Canadian? Is that you, Jesse? And so what we're going to do tonight, we're going to bring Jesse on first and let him give you an idea what's going on with what he does, what his interests are, and how he brings what he brings to amateur radio and to our community as well. He's also part of our Las Vegas DX Foundation group member, founding member, and he's a really nice guy as well. You're going to kick out of him, and I'm not sure how we set up anything. What are you thinking about, Sharon?
No. I figured out my phone, so yay. I'm just excited to hear about SOTA because that's my next adventure, or excuse me, our next adventure.
Exactly. We actually are very interested in doing the SOTA and the POTA. And there's Jesse right there. He just came up. He popped up out of nowhere. How you doing, Jesse?
Jesse.
Good, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah. Well, thank you for coming on.
Yes.
It's getting kind of late. He's worked all day. It's getting kind of late there, and where he's located at. So I know you didn't have to come on here, but you did. And I really appreciate you coming on for us. I tried to ask you early on, and you made it. So I really appreciate that. You have more than you'd ever know. So he's one of our guests tonight. Why don't you tell us a little bit about you, Jesse? Go ahead.
Yeah, so my name's Jesse, obviously. My call sign's VE6JTW. I live just outside of Calgary, Alberta, Canada. And like they said, I live 40-minute drive from the eastern slopes of the Canadian Rocky Mountains. So I met my Elmer, who kind of kicked my butt and brought me up a summit one day. And since then, I've been doing summits on the air, like almost every weekend. I'm climbing up a mountain since about March.
Very cool.
When I bought my rig and everything.
Wow, amazing. So how many summits have you? Well, wait a minute. You've also got a YouTube channel as well, right? Go ahead.
Yeah, I started a YouTube channel, but like I was saying before the stream started, I started it so that I wasn't talking to myself, trying to make sure the bears know that I'm around. I don't want them being spooked when I come around a corner and have Mama Grizzly come after me, right? So I started the YouTube channel. Shameless plug. It's Canadian Rockies Radio Adventure.
Okay.
I can't make a smaller URL for it because I don't have enough subscribers yet, but that'll come.
For sure it will. I mean, and we hope we get to promote you a little bit here as well. I mean, you are one of our club members, so we want you to be successful, and I know you will be. I mean, I've watched a couple of your little videos, and they're really interesting. You did a good job on them. I mean, it's close to professional video blogging, if you will, that I've ever seen. So
You're gonna make me blush.
you do such a good job. I've got to be honest with you. And what is your where's your YouTube channel again?
So it's Canadian CDN, just short, and then Canadian Rockies Adventurer.
Okay.
It's a mouthful, but I wanted it to be different because there's guys like Charlie Red Summit RF. His channel's fantastic if you're interested in watching soda stuff. Same with Adam K6ARK. And then down in New Zealand, there's Chris Radio Runner, and his peaks that he does are just as beautiful as the ones here in Canada.
Well, that's only glad you mentioned that because the Rocky Mountains, whether it be in Canada or the U.S., are just an incredible place to be in the world. I mean, and you said you're what, 40 minutes away?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, it's about 40 minutes if you're doing the speed limit.
What about Jeep time? About an hour.
So tell me what a typical soda day would be for you. Go ahead.
So get up, get coffee, throw the gear in the pickup truck first,
Okay.
and then grab coffee and try and be on the trailhead by about 7 in the morning. So you're leaving your house at about 6. I know Malin, the guy that I hike with, VE6 VID, he lives probably almost 2 hours, almost a 2-hour drive for him to get to the mountains. So we meet on the trailhead, and then we hike up, and I do some video and get up to the summit and relax a little bit, take in the view, and set up some radio and make some contacts.
So you're hauling a battery with you then, I would imagine, right?
I am actually. I pulled it out because I knew you were going to ask. So I hauled this guy up. Oh, can I get it in there? Where's the...
I was expecting something like really heavy. You're going to pick up something off the floor and go, oh,
It's a
here's my
little
battery.
lower.
I'm taking it with me up the mountain.
How heavy
No,
is that?
it weighs...
No,
I don't know. My handheld weighs about the same. It's
Ooh.
So that's that
probably
new,
less than 2 pounds.
Oh, nice.
That's that new battery technology, correct?
Yeah, it's a LiPo 4 battery. It weighs nothing. I've never drained it. It
Wow.
works great.
Imagine that.
I
So,
bought it more because I originally started doing the parks on the air and then jumped on soda real quick. So it's almost too heavy to do summits on the air.
Wow.
So 7 amp hours, milliamp. Is it? Let me see the battery again. Bring it back up again and take a look at the writings on it. So 7 amp hours. That's enough for you to make enough. So is there a requirement of how many contacts that you make to qualify something to qualify? Or how does that work?
So you have to make 4 contacts on the summit in order to activate the summit and get your
Okay.
points.
Okay.
And so what you'd do is you'd go online, right? And you'd register that you're going to activate that particular summit.
Yeah.
Is that how you do it?
So you go on a website called it's www.sotlas.au,
Okay.
and then you before you go up, you can alert on the website and let people know what day, time, what summit you're going to be on. And then once you get to the summit, most of these summits out here, you have cell phone service once you get up there.
Okay.
So you can alert and let everyone know you're up there, you're set up, you're on whatever frequency, and they can chase you down.
Oh, cool.
So you're actually live on the internet. Your location is and your frequency that you're located at as well, right? Is that
Yeah, you can alert live once
Yeah.
you're up there.
Because I know with PODA, Sharon and I, because you're either the hunter or you're the fox, sort of thing. So
Yeah.
she goes on the app or the on the computer.
The app usually.
Yeah, and she can see who's available, and people are like they're waiting for you guys to show up. I mean, you guys got like a crowd of people that are looking for you guys, and so
I used to sit on the PODA app for hours watching it just to see if I could hear
Yeah.
somebody.
It's fun.
I mean, it's like
Yeah.
you pop up and like they're going, there's a new one right there, and people converge on your frequency, and it's like you're suddenly the belle of the ball, if you will. I mean, you get to get on there and if they can hear you, they're going to contact you, and that's pretty awesome. And so
Yeah.
that little battery you have right there is enough power in that little light thing to energize your entire experience on the mountain,
Yep.
right?
Yeah,
That's a-
and I can probably do 2 or 3 mountains and not kill the battery. Probably more than that.
There you go.
The technology, because you're using a radio that runs how much power?
I put out 20 watts SSB.
Okay, 20 watts. Okay, so I know we talked to some people today. There's some guys at our weekly club luncheon, if you will, at Buca de Beppo in Las Vegas. I'll put it out
One
there.
day I'll come. One day.
Yeah.
I know you will. I know you. I feel like you will, man. And I think it's probably a larger battery than that one, but they charge. They bring two batteries, and they charge. They run one down. He's running 100 watts with that 891, a Yaesu FT 891, and so when he runs one battery down, he puts a solar charger on that one dead battery and uses the fresh battery. But they're not hiking up a mountain like you are. I mean, you're doing something beyond what these guys drive to a park, get out, go to a park bench, put up an antenna. You're hiking up a mountain. So it's a little bit different what you do. I guess.
And some of the guys, like we have a soda association here, VE6 Soda Association. So there's a group of us. I think there's about 15 of us, I think. Okay. But some of these guys have been doing it a while, and they used to carry, the big lead acid battery up to the top of the summits with them. And they've been activating these summits for years now. I can just imagine the stuff they went through, especially in the wintertime, because you get your winter bonus points in the winter. And
what?
Some of these places I don't even want to, because we get snow, and the temperature in the winter here is anywhere from -10 to -50 Celsius.
They go up the summit in the wintertime.
They go up in the winter.
The whole thing, huh?
Snowshoes, traction aids, you name it. They'll climb. They're very dedicated.
Well, at least there's no bears, right? Let's worry about the bears, right?
That's true. You don't have to worry about the bears. You just got to worry about the cats.
What? The cat.
Just carry a big stick.
Carry a big stick. Walk tall, carry a big stick, right?
Your trekking pole.
If anybody wants to call in and talk to Jesse, we have a phone number. It's a live phone number. You'll talk directly to him. Phone number is 855-502-4321, and you'll get and that's right. And press the number 1 key after that. You'll hear it dials in. Press number 1, and you'll come on live with us, and it'll be a lot of fun for you guys. And so back to your soda adventures. So you basically got started in amateur radio via this vehicle, if you will. This is your introduction to ham radio was doing summits. Is that right?
So actual introduction to ham radio was COVID happened. And then I was sitting on the couch playing around on YouTube.
Okay.
And then I came across the ham radio crash course. I don't know if any of you guys have seen that.
No, I have not.
It's a fantastic channel. Josh Nass is amazing.
Okay.
And I went down his rabbit hole, and he's got hundreds and hundreds of videos.
Wow.
And I just started watching those, and then they led to the POTA guys channels like Mike Cade, MRD. And I started watching his videos, and then POTA got me interested, and then so on, and it's a snowball effect. And I've only been licensed since November, so I've just fell right down the rabbit hole.
What radio is you using?
What is your radio that you're using now?
So I use a Xiegu G90.
Yeah, I've seen that radio. It's pretty. It's a very. Do you happen to have it available at your side there by chance?
It's packed away in my bag, but yeah, I can pull it up real quick.
And this radio it's available. I think MFJ is the distributor for them. I'm not sure if I'm right about that, but they're not super expensive, but they are SDR radios, and they're battery. You can use a battery on them, and they're lightweight. They have a waterfall display. He'll show you in a second.
Can you remind us what SDR is?
That's software defined radio. Yeah, it's a computer that runs radios, basically, and so it's a computer that's got some RF power options. Portion as well.
Now, if you want, we can run this video for 4 minutes.
Okay. So we'll take a look at the radio, and Jesse will. We're going to run your video. Is that going to be okay with you? And you can take a little break, and we'll run the video. We've got one of your videos, and we did edit it slightly, but we got about 4 minutes of it. So we're going to run the video, and we're going to get to see exactly what you do. Okay. Let's see what
awesome. Sounds good.
Yeah. You're gonna be a star in a few minutes. You're a star right now. You're a star.
Awesome.
Sure. Okay, ready? We're gonna run the video now. Okay, you ready, Jesse? Just hold on. Just get things ready for us. You'll show it to us when we're done. Okay, we're ready. Go ahead, Aaron.
Welcome back, guys. This is Jesse, VE6 JTW, Canadian Rockies Radio Adventure, and it is Sunday, July 18th.
So we're on our way up Fairview. We're about 218 meters up. It's pretty smoky. You can see down below. It's Lake Louise. It's the Fairmont Lake Louise. And you got Rich, VE6, Lima Charlie Echo, Malin, VE6 VID, Dave, can't remember his call sign, and then a straggler who was very scared. He's coming with us. So making our way up the trail slowly. Not quite there yet. Another 500.
Good. My natural radiator's working overtime.
Malin, Rich.
The fun's just about to happen.
Yeah, we're about to get to the suck.
No suck about it.
Oh yeah, it's gonna suck. We're getting there though. We'll get up there and we'll get set up and then we'll do some more video. Hope you all enjoy this. Well, we made it up to the summit, so here you go. This is Fairview Mountain in beautiful Lake Louise, Alberta, Canada. I think it's a Victor Echo 6 Golf Sierra 003. It's just horrible, isn't it? So we're gonna get HF set up and make some contacts. Hi, Malin. Dave.
Dave.
Say hi.
Hey.
So I'm running, yeah, like I said, one of Malin's little batteries that I think I'm going to make an order for myself, because that's pretty handy dandy. The G90, it works really good. I spot on my phone. I got a Right in the Rain notebook just because I gave up on the electronic logs. Bunch of water. I only used one pole today. Then I got the fishing pole that goes up, runs out, basically like a inverted V. And yeah, we've got the Rockies. So we're on top of Fairview Mountain right now. I have no idea what those ones are, but they are beautiful. And then you go over there, that is Mount St. Piran, another 6-pointer, that guy right there. And that might be one to do one day, but the hike sucked, so out of shape fat guy. CQ, 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 CQ SOTA, CQ SOTA, CQ SOTA. This is Victor Echo 6 Juliet Tango Whiskey calling CQ SOTA, CQ SOTA, CQ Summit's on the air.
Whiskey 6 Delta Tango.
Whiskey 6 Delta Tango UR 5757.
QS Delta 57, you're 33 into Northern California. Thanks for the activation.
Thank you for chasing me down. I appreciate it. 73. QRZ, this is Victor Echo 6 Juliet Tango Whiskey CQ SOTA.
Wow. Okay, so I want to go to
Wow.
Canada.
Wow, that that just blew me away, man. That is one of the most beautiful videos I've ever seen in my entire life. That was incredible. You were at the edge of the world, man. What was your height, your elevation there? Do you remember, or do you?
I think from the truck we were 1,050 meters from the truck, and it was I think it was almost
3,000 feet.
I'm working it.
3,000 more feet, right? The meters to feet, right?
it's high,
Times 3.
1,015 meters?
1,015.
something like that. Yeah.
3,000 plus feet.
Meters.
And so what do you think the overall elevation is from how tall was the actual mountain itself from zero? I mean, from the ocean, for example.
Okay.
If going from sea level, I think it's almost 10,000 feet.
Seriously, so that's
Or it's about 1,000 feet shy. It's like 9,000 feet, I think.
Okay.
Don't quote me on it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Well, 1,015 meters equals 3,330
Yeah.
feet and 0.63 inches.
to be technical.
Whoa.
to be right there. It's high. It's very high.
And there's still a lot of snow around. I could tell that the
Those are glaciers,
terrain-
actually. Those don't melt.
Oh, is that right? Okay. And we saw some,
Yeah.
there's like a river down below that ultra green looking water on your
So-
video.
That's Lake Louise. There's actually a very fancy hotel right on the edge of that. If
Yeah.
you can fork out $600-700 a night,
Oh, there you go.
But-
It's in the
Worth every
budget.
but
penny, I'm
it's that's what that area is known as. That lake right there.
Oh, really? I saw it when you panned around, and that was it caught my eye, and that's
It's
amazing.
it's stunning.
I mean, it's amazing that you did that, and you're literally on the pinnacle of this summit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're
Yeah.
you got your fishing pole. So tell me about the fishing pole scenario. What's going on with that?
So it's just an Amazon special 7-meter fishing pole, and then just use some like silicone glue and put some loops on it, and
Okay.
I can pin it down, and it doesn't go nowhere, and it holds up the antenna just fine.
So that's the mast for the antenna.
That's the mast for my antenna. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. So the fishing pole is not for fishing in the lake. It is for
No.
Oh, there's the hotel. We're looking at the hotel now.
Wow.
Yes,
Well,
it's
I think
something else. They do
Looks like a
they do
Las
ice
Vegas hotel.
sculptures out on the lake
Right.
in the winter.
I'd rather be in my tent with the bears.
Me too.
The that's really amazing. And so the mast is it's lightweight. It's telescoping, so it's just you can
Yeah,
it's very
it's
small.
super light carbon fiber. Came from China. Is cheap.
So with your radio, your antennas and your battery, everything that you need to take with you to make this POTA thing happen, how much do you think that weighs collectively?
If you add in like my water, my food, I have a rain poncho that kind of doubles as a shelter if I need it to. I think my bag weighs about 25 pounds.
That's it.
Yeah.
Because
That's heavy.
the battery that you'd have to use 10 years ago or even 5 years ago would weigh more than that. Just the battery alone, right?
Yes.
10 years. That,
Well, that's really outstanding. I was truly blown away by the beauty of that video. You do a really good job on that. Congratulations. I got to be honest with
Thank
you.
you.
Those videos are just absolutely breathtaking. What do you think about it, Sharon?
I'm ready to go. I'll enlist Mooney. He can carry his kibble and the battery, and
Just our dog Mooney.
well,
well, and yet,
earn the keep.
while we were up there, a couple came up with their dog.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
Yeah.
That's something that you can definitely do. It's not too hot. We're here in Vegas, it's 1,000 degrees, so to get a dog outside
give
would
or
be
take a degree.
would be to kill the dog and take it outside.
It
But,
kills the humans.
exactly.
I would fry down there.
It's rough.
But in elevation, matter of fact, I talked to a gentleman this morning. We're at our luncheon that he went up on Mount Charleston, not even all the way to the peak. He went around 8,000 feet. He went
Okay.
to that dome. What's called
The-
Angel Point, right?
Oh, Angel Peak.
Angel Peak.
That's
He
a
went-
Jeep run.
So he went up there that area, and Gary, I'm talking about Gary. It's K7RKO.
Oh, the other POTA guy.
Yeah,
Or
and
the
he-
POTA guy.
And he's, I think it was around, I think maybe it's a different, wasn't that exact location, but he was up in elevation around 8,000 feet.
Okay.
And early in the morning, just like you do, Jesse, and it was, it's 110 degrees down here, but up there it was 57 degrees. And
Oh, that sounds lovely.
that's something we could take our dogs to. That's something good to know, because there's stuff to do around this harsh part of the world, and still we can, in an hour we can be where it's like where it is where you're at almost. I'm maybe not quite that cold, but anyway, get out and have some fun with our dogs, or just get out and have some fun out of the heat. It's the main thing here in Vegas. How do you do that without just staying in your air conditioning? You know what I mean? So wow. That's
I like my air conditioning.
So show me the radio. Did you have it? Do you have it out still?
Yeah.
Is it still available?
Yeah, I got it all hooked up here.
Okay.
So
So
I
there
don't
you
know
go.
how am I
Oh,
going to
that's
do this.
cute.
That's the radio
So
right there.
it's just a little guy. It's got a waterfall on it.
Yep.
I don't know if you can see it
Okay, we
very
see it
well.
perfectly. Very well,
Perfect.
yeah. And so that little contraption there, it says SDR on the bottom, and it says software-defined radio.
Yeah.
And, that little thing works very well, huh? It works well for you.
It works amazing. I did upgrade this guy here, the knob,
Okay.
because it comes with a really small one, and it drove me insane. And I put this aftermarket stuff, but it's a little desktop stand
Oh, I
on
like
it.
that. It's perfect, yeah.
Adds a little bit of weight, but I mean, I like having it so I can see it.
Right.
When I was doing Parks on the Air, I think I got you and Andrew one time, and I recorded it and sent it to Andrew, and I think I sent it to you as well.
I think so. I'm sure I have it, yeah. If I don't remember, maybe you have got a lot of videos with me in it. But I'm sure I'm in one of them.
Yeah, I think I didn't do it. I didn't upload that video. That was before the YouTube thing.
Okay.
But I took it because Andrew came through and I wanted him to see how he was coming through up here in Canada.
You could always retro ad, you know.
I could if I can find it.
Okay, there you go. If I find it, I'll give it back to you. You can upload it.
Oh, the cuckoo bird's loose.
Yeah. Somebody catch that bird.
We need
Yeah.
where's my stick?
So okay. So we're gonna wrap it up now with you, Jesse. Thank you so much. We're at the half hour mark, and so I really appreciate your time and coming on and being a part of this. And I wish you a lot of luck. You brought a lot to the table here, and that's important for us to have good substance. And there you are right there. We talk to you almost every day, and we see your post. And you can find, if you guys are interested in taking a look at some of his stuff, you can come to where we are. We're the Las Vegas DX Foundation, and we're a group in Facebook. You can find us there, and if you join the club, it's free to join it. And if you ask permission to join the club, you're going to be automatically joined to the club without any. Yeah, right, exactly. You can become a member without getting authorized or anything like that. We're not going to check you out. We don't anything like
zoom out, eh?
we gotta get out of here.
I think we gotta go.
We gotta get out of here, man. Hey, Jesse, thanks a lot, man. We appreciate you, man.
Jesse.
Yeah, no problem. If you guys ever come up here, I'll come with you. I'll take you out.
Okay, sounds
Bye.
good, man. We'll do it for sure, man. Come on down.
We'll be the ones in the
Awesome.
Jeep.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you
Okay,
again, man.
thank
Bye
you.
bye. All right, that was awesome, y'all. That was
That was fun.
I'm so glad he came on. That added a lot to our program. Okay, so next we've got a gentleman from Australia, and every bit as you can imagine Australia. And he's a class act. He's quite a gentleman, very well spoken. His name is Corey, and his call sign is VK4KA. I talked to him many times in Australia from here in Vegas in my station, and the first time I talked to him was on 40 meters. But since then, since him and I spoke the first time on 40 meters early in the morning, he's created his own. He's transformed his radio station into a really high-end radio station, and he built his own directional antenna. It's called a Mach Sight. I'll tell you all about it. We're going to bring him on. Are we about ready for Corey? Okay. Oh, there he is.
Here I am.
How you
There's
doing,
Corey.
sir? How you doing, man? I'm talking
Good, guys.
to you.
How are you?
Doing great, man. Thank you very much, and thank you very much for coming on to the show. We really appreciate you very much. And I was explaining to the audience that the first time I met you, you and I made a contact on 40 meters. I think it was, right?
Yeah, I think it was. You were running a Christensen phased array on verticals, and I was running a
that's
vertical
right.
on 40 meters as well.
Oh, that's right. I was running the phase verticals at that time. Yeah, I thought
Yep.
I thought it was the hex beam I had on 40 for a minute. Okay, so welcome to the show, and we're really glad you're here. And thanks for taking your time. I know I guess it's a little afternoon there in Australia now, right?
Yep, just gone half past 12 here.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Are you on your lunch break? Or are you at home, or where are you at? I guess you're at home.
No.
The radio station's there, right?
This was
Obviously,
a very good excuse to have an early mark off work
Are you
today.
serious?
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
We're glad we could assist you on that.
Yay. Early outs. Those are
Thanks.
the best.
Thanks for taking your time to come out. So tell us a little bit about your what you're doing in your radio station. Are you mobile with your phone? Is it your phone? We're doing video
Yep,
on your phone.
on my phone.
Could you give us a nice view of what you've created there?
Yep, no worries. So I've got a amplifier over here, tuner just above it. Not that I use a tuner now that I've got monoband directional antennas. We've got an LPA 100 station monitor just beside that.
Okay.
And I've got a LDG MC7610 that Cliff K5DA generously picked up from Gigaparts for me in Las Vegas and shipped it all the way to the US, to Australia rather.
Oh, it
Oh.
made it. Cool.
Yeah. And then I've got my 7610, IC 7610 just below that I've had for a couple of weeks, and very, very pleased with that.
Amazing radio, yep.
I've worked some stations on that I don't think I could have heard on other radios, so it's really, really good. And then I've got a little 24-inch second-hand PC monitor that I've got as an external feed for the radio, so I can look at a glance where I'm at and what the radio's doing and signal reports and stuff like that.
Nothing wrong with secondhand.
Beautiful. And
That's right.
So that amplifier that you have is also something pretty special as well, right?
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about the amplifier by itself. So what does it do? What does the amplifier do, really?
All right, so amplifier, you've got your radio will do X amount of output power. Sometimes propagation conditions, the power that a radio itself just won't make a QSO possible. So you use an amplifier. Same as a car stereo. If you want louder music, you use an amplifier. So that was made by a local amateur here in VK. He's about 3 or 4 miles from me.
Wow.
It's 6 SD2943 transistors in push-pull.
Okay.
It's rated at about 3 kilowatts a sideband. It'll pretty much do that all day. It's water-cooled. Way of the future. Water cooling amplifiers.
Wow.
I've got it'll work out to about a 12-gallon beer keg out the back of the shed.
You have what? You have
12-gallon beer keg.
Is there any beer in that keg, sir?
No.
So that's your coolant. That's your coolant, right, for the amplifier, right?
Yep. The little pump runs about 2 gallons a minute, so it constantly while I'm transmitting. If the amplifier temperature is up while I've ceased transmitting, it will continue to pump cool water through the amplifier until the amplifier reaches a temperature that the amplifier builder deems safe to keep it idling along at.
Got it. So I used to build computers back in the day, and a lot of our gaming computers would have they would cool down the processor with water coolant system. So this would be similar to something like that, right? So you have water circulating through the transistors. There's a mechanism that a technique that he uses to pump that water through, and basically what you do, you have your water is on the outside of the shack. Your water,
so there's no noise.
Oh, great! So that keeps the noise down. Okay, makes sense. So you literally pipe in water lines from a remote location, basically outside the wall, and from just where you have your water storage at, and the pumps and things of that nature, and you activate that, and it starts pumping water through the wall into the amplifier right here by the desk, and cools everything down while you're operating. That's pretty amazing. You know, that's like.
Has a question in the chat room.
Oh, we have a question.
Oh, Daryl.
I'm just telling you what it is.
Okay, great.
He wants to know if he's running what multi-band antenna he's running.
Okay, great. Daryl, one of our club members, has asked you a question, and that's Daryl. Is KJ7 UCT. He's a good friend of ours, and we see him all the time. He's at luncheons, and when he doesn't make it, we miss him a lot. So, Daryl's a very important part of our clan, our clique, if you will. And so he asked a question about your antennas. Do you run a multi-band antenna? Go ahead.
I used to. I found that I was having issues with getting components locally here in VK that will actually stand up to conditions, I guess you'd say. We have very harsh summers, and where my personal QTH, it's not too cool, but summertime here is horrific for humidity and heat. And we've got lots of cockatoos, galahs. So I generally try and not run multi-band antennas anymore. I try and stick to monobanders. I've got another local amateur here, Andy, VK4KY. He's an absolute guru on EasyNet modelling antennas. I'm actually going to see him tomorrow, and we're going to talk about the new antenna that he's designed for me. It's going to be a 5-element Moxon Yagi on 20 meters.
What?
On a 30-foot boom.
What?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, super Moxon.
Oh, needs a cape and a mask.
So the Moxon is a type of it's sort of like a newer sort of computer. They discovered it via computer generation, I guess, or simulation. It's a Yagi, a 2-element Yagi that's pretty darn amazing, isn't it?
Yep, it certainly does. For the gain characteristics, it's essentially a hex beam. It's just a different shape. It's a rectangle, not a hexagon. Yep. And your construction characteristics and how you build it is what sets everybody apart. You can build a hex beam out of wire. You can build a Moxon out of wire. Depends what you've got access to, your skill set, time, your local weather conditions. If you're not going to stick up a big monster aluminum antenna if you've got 150 mile an hour wind gusts, unless you've got a substantial tower. So again, it's like a hex beam. You've got it's versatile. You can make it out of wire, so your rotating mass is a lot less. So yeah, to answer your question, I generally don't run multi-band antennas. I'm pretty much strictly a monoband antenna guy these days. And I've actually got an antenna here that it's not complete, but I can show you somewhat the way of how I construct a Moxon.
Sure, that'd be great. Yeah, thank you.
All right, I'll run through that now quickly. So we've got these little clamps here.
Okay.
They're called a Storff clamp.
Okay.
And they're made out of a nylon plastic.
Okay.
They're about 57 cents Australian each, so you're about 40 cents US for the 2 shells.
Okay.
You call those a shell, they're in half. And what you do is you get your little boom here. So this is what I guess sets me apart from everybody else, is I'm a welder, what we call a boilermaker here in Australia. So I've got access to material and machines to do a lot of this. So this is a 6 meter Moxon.
Wow. Is it now?
Oh,
That's
Amazing.
that's the boom of a 6 meter Moxon. It's a
Right.
2.5 foot long boom,
Got it. Okay.
and you've got these plates here, 1/4 inch thick.
Okay.
And then I drill a couple of holes, the same hole centers as the Storff clamps, in 4 spots.
Got
All
it.
right.
Okay.
An element. I'll see if I get that in shot.
Okay.
That's one half of an element of a 6 meter Moxon.
Got it.
So that's probably maybe 1 yard, just over a yard long.
So it's a 1/4 wavelength then.
1/4 wave. Yep. So you've got one of those on each side of the Moxon. So when you finish, you've got a 1/2 inch dipole
Got it.
with a reflector behind it.
Okay.
wow.
So it's the construction characteristics. As I said, people make them out of wire. I've seen them online. People use bamboo and make a cross section out of bamboo and then string wire out. There was a guy, Dan McGuire, Alpha Charlie 6 Lima Alpha, working off L. Sebic's W4RNL's algorithms, designed a program that I use called MoxGen. Mike Oscar X-Ray Golf Echo November MoxGen.
Okay.
That's free online. You can just Google MoxGen, and it's a very small zip file, and that's basically what I use for designing my antennas. And I know when you introduced me, you said that I was a micro genius. So I'm very far from that.
Well, it depends on who you're talking to. From my viewpoint, I think you are. But from whatever, I know you're humble. So go ahead.
I put my spin on what everybody else has done. I haven't reinvented the wheel. If something works right, why reinvent the wheel?
Yeah.
So I've just taken a very, very basic design that is freely available for anybody to build, and I've just improved on it and done it my way with what's available to me. I work with aluminum all day. I'm a TIG welder every day, so to grab a couple of bits of offcuts of tube from the scrap bin and making a 6 meter Moxon like that, it's about 8 foot wide in total,
Okay.
and it's on a 2.5 foot boom. You can have that knocked up in an hour, and then all you've got to do is your feed point, which again we'll touch on. That is a very, very simple way. There's no hairpin matches or gamma matches or anything like that. So a very, very simple antenna that if you've got access to, you don't need aluminum tube. You can make it out of wire. And you'll find I've had a couple of guys ask me if I can make them portable versions. So
Wow.
we want to downsize them, use telescopic tube rather than one size tube,
Got it.
and then that way you can pull them apart like a standard Yagi antenna and reassemble as needed. So the feeding system is what really got me. Is, as I said, I'm not the smartest tool in the shed. I'm good at what I do. So a Moxon antenna is a 50 ohm feed, no matter how you look at it. So you can direct feed it with a piece of coax with no chokes or anything like that, and
Okay.
it will work.
Wow.
I've got a little tiny nano VNAs here that I use,
Okay.
and I pretty much gave up testing them. I find that they're either around 49.7 ohms, 50.2 ohms.
That's the most perfect.
They work. The one thing I have found, and I'm not sure if it's a design flaw of the program that they use, that you generally have to make the Moxon for about 100 kilohertz lower than what you actually tend to use it on. So if you want to talk in the middle of the 20 meter band, you design it for a little bit lower in the band, and then it'll be spot on right in the middle.
Okay.
And if you wanted to make it, say, the CW part on the band, you design the frequency usage to about the 13.9 megaband. Sorry,
Okay.
13.9 megahertz.
Yep.
And then it'll give you pretty much
Okay.
smack on right on the CW part of 20 meters.
Your bandwidth though is pretty good anyway, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you probably got I'm sure you could get over 350 kc bandwidth, right? I mean, you cover the entire 20 meter
do.
band, right? Yeah, I noticed with the hex that I had put up for 40 meters, and the lower you go in frequency, the more the more critical it becomes because your bandwidth typically is terrible. I mean, you get 100 kc on a Yagi, and on 40 meters, you're doing pretty good. But so I thought my hex beam was my 2-to-1 bandwidth was 500 kc. I mean, I literally smashed the entire 40 meter band plus. I almost go up to 7.5 megahertz, and I was so surprised at how wide the 2-to-1. That's the 2-to-1 bandwidth, not the 3-to-1, but the 2-to-1. And so the Mox line has a similar properties as well.
Yep. Yep. So I did some plotting on the Nano VNA and the internal SWR readouts on the 7300 that I originally had and the 7610, and you'll see the little VNAs, they give you your plot of where your SWR comes down, and then it'll sort of be a nice low curve, or it might not be very broad, so it comes down and then shoots straight back up again. So with a Mox on, you've got that very steep curve on the input where it's not resonant on the lower bands, and then as soon as you've got it to where that design frequency is, it just hovers all the way along. So, and then the further you get away from the frequency of where it's designed, it's not directional and there's no gain, but because it's still a dipole, it's still going to be able to be tuned. So I can, anything lower than 20 meters, I can't tune it. The internal tuner won't pull down. As soon as I go, say, 15, 17, 12, 10, it will tune with the internal tuner of the radio, because it's under 3-to-1, because it's a dipole, and it's fed with coax. So it's still a dipole of those frequencies, and there's no directionality or gain. But on their design frequency, it's got gain and directionality.
Exactly, because I remember I was on 17 meters talking to Bradley, and he and then you came on with a 20 meter Mox on. You're 20 meter Mox on, but we're on 17 meters. Right? I'm thinking, well, what's he using for an antenna? You're blasting into Las Vegas over S9, just right on mid par, maybe not quite as loud, but close to within a couple of dB. I sent you the video. You saw how loud you both were comparatively, and I'm like, that thing works on 17 meters, like better than most antennas I see that are designed for 17 meters. So I was very impressed with that. But on 20 meters, you run pile-ups every night. Every night you operate. Well, it's night for us, but you usually come on about this time, right?
The band starts opening up about now onto the East Coast from here in VK. So my QTH, I'm about 6 miles off the coast of the East Coast of Australia, and for me to be west short path, it's about 6 kilometres northeast over a little bit of land, and the little bit of land is full of little saltwater marshlands and little ponds and stuff like that. So I'm very low where I am. I'm only 65. My antenna is only 65 feet above sea level, so I'm very low. But it's all got to do with your terrain. It's got to be. I don't do anything different to any other person. It's just an ideal place for work in North America because it's straight into the water. And I honestly, there was only, I think it was Monday afternoon here, Sunday evening for you guys, I worked 150 odd stations in about 2 hours. So I generally will give a number and keep running if I do find myself in a situation where there's a lot of guys calling me. It's a number and we'll keep moving like a contest. But everyone at least gets a go at work in Australia. And I'm always happy to experiment with guys if they can make a contact on 100 watts and say, hey, you mind if I go QRP or something like that? More than happy to do it. I've spoken to a couple of guys up in Victor Echo land and even Andrew VK2 TXB portable there in Las Vegas. We've had a QSO with him on 1 watt and
I saw that
perfectly fine. So
that's amazing. So that's also a credit to how well your antenna receives signals, because it's not just about propagating power or your effective ERP effective radiated power. It's also, can this antenna hear? Because of directional antennas, they have two things that they add to a station. They have ERP, effective radiated power, and also receivability. They improve your ability to hear stations wherever it's pointed to, and that's a big deal. I mean, it does two things. That's a lot of power it adds to your station. I mean, to be able to hear something is the main thing. You can't hear anything. If you can't hear them, you can't talk to them. They can hear you all day long, but if you can't hear them, then you're stuck without anything. Hey, there's somebody who wanted to ask a question. There's Robert. He asked a little while ago, so I'm going to go ahead and shoot this at you now. Robert wants to know what bands your amp covers.
It's 160 through 10.
Wow.
It won't do 6 meters. the builder did actually have it on 6 meters, but it wasn't too happy there, so he hasn't. He redesigned the board. I'm actually I'm serial number 24, so
Wow.
he's customized it with my call sign and a serial number on the front of it for me as well. And but yeah, we found that it wasn't doing what it should do on 6 meters, and it wasn't really happy there. So my amplifier also too is the first amplifier he did with automatic band switching in it. He never did that. It was just a matter of, you had to change the bands. He didn't know what radios people were going to use. So, but I exclusively use ICOM. I always have since I was first licensed about 15 years ago, and I've never had an issue with ICOM. And I started off with a 718, like a 718 and wire antennas, and I was doing that over in Australia. Our foundation license is what you have guys as a technician license. We do get a little bit of, or we get voice on a few HF bands, not just 2 meters and 70 centimeters. We get 80 and 40 and 15 and 10 meter and 2 and 70, and we get voice. So, I started off there, 10 watts and a wire essentially. Out we're somewhat exactly like the UK. Your foundations is 10 watts.
Wow.
And then you've got to get your upgrade to what we call a standard license, which is your general, and then you get access to 20 meters. And a few other bands. You get the WARC bands and 6 meters, but you're limited again to 100 watts. So now you get a full call. I've upgraded to a full license. You get all the HF. You get 160, and the two lower bands, the LF bands, you get 160, and all the HF stuff plus all your microwave stuff that I'm not really interested. Microwave stuff's not a big thing over here in VK. There's just not as many licensed hams here. I think there's only about 14,000 active licensed members in the whole of Australia. So,
wow. I was wondering what the number was there in Australia.
Okay, speaking of numbers.
Oh yeah. By the way, anyone that wants to call in and ask a question, please do. Please call. The phone number here is 855-502-4321, and then press the number 1 key after it. If someone picks up, and you talk to Corey, ask him a question, or talk to one of us, or whatever. We'd love to have you on the show as well. And so that's that. Anything from you, Sharon?
No, all those numbers scared me, so I'm going to sit here quietly.
I mean, so you're, by the way, you've got the highest ranking license available in Australia, right? And hence the call sign that you have. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, you cut out a little bit there, but I got most of what you said. So yes, I do have an advanced or your extra class license over here.
Okay.
So we've got access to all the HF spectrum, the 2 and 70, and your microwave stuff. We don't have usage on the 220 meg band, your 1.25 meters. We don't have that here. But I'm pretty much exclusively a HF guy. I started off with when I first was licensed, I had the 2 meter and the 70 centimeter stuff, and our repeaters are quite, like you don't have the activity. There's 14,000 people that are licensed in the landmass, essentially the same size of the US. So,
right.
You've got all those people spread out over that massive landmass, and there's just no repeater activity. So, you found that you spent quite a lot of money on gear, and there was just nowhere to use it. So I found myself on HF, 718 and 100, 10 watts and a wire, and then I had a couple of kids, so the radio took a back burner for quite a few years. My youngest, he's 8.5 now, and it's only been in the last sort of about 18 months that I've been back on radio. I'd had everything packed up, absolutely on no spectrum at all. And then one of my good mates, he was still on CB, but we met on CB, and I started off, like a lot of guys do on CB, and then I furthered myself in the hobby. And he sort of spurred me along. He's like, get back into radio. And I, what the heck? So I bought a 7300 and stuck up a wire antenna, and I realised that the bands were still poor. I wasn't around the radio while we went through the last Sunspot cycle, so I missed that. And I've only just come back on now as we're starting to ramp back up again. So, and I had the 7300 for up until about a month ago, and I was using the Moxon. I was running 100 watts, and I was still having pile-ups into the US and still having pile-ups into Europe over Christmas time. So, you just need to be on the radio. Call CQ. The bands aren't going to fill themselves if
Right.
you don't call. So
Good
that's,
point.
and that's
Very
what
good
I find
point.
I do.
So we can find you when you're active. You're typically on around 14,246, right? Is that about
Yep.
right? Plus or minus, maybe.
14,246 to anywhere about 253. I generally stay there, so then that way I don't block out any of the US
Right.
general calls. You know, like I'd hate to be active on a frequency that no one can talk to me on. So I'm always just up in that voice part of the general part of the band. So, and I remember I was Sharon's first international DXQSO on 20 meters as well.
That's
Scared
exactly
to
right.
death.
Yeah, that's right. That's correct. Yeah, Sharon, her first DX contact was with Corey in Australia, and she was nervous as you can possibly imagine. It was a beautiful thing to see, and she's pretty much gotten over that. Most of that with FM on our repeaters around here, she definitely has gotten over it. But on HCF, she's still a little timid. I gotta be honest with you. We gotta get her on the air more.
I like POTA. I like the POTA.
Yeah, we're gonna be doing more POTA for sure. We're gonna be doing POTA as the actual people in the park. So we want to get out, and not be stuck to. It sounds like where you're living at is similar to what we have here in Las Vegas. We have harsh summers and incredible winters, and spring's wonderful and fall is wonderful as well. But the summers will beat the crap out of you, and so we have mountains.
Middle of winter here, and I'm in shorts and a t-shirt. So it's a beautiful day here today.
Wow.
It's we're about 75 degrees at the moment in the middle of
Wow.
winter. So beautiful sunny day here in VK.
Well, with you live on a gigantic island the size of America, and the United States. America makes up a lot of. You differentiate that right now before I get in trouble. North America, U.S. and. But you live near the ocean as well, so that makes a huge difference as well. And what's cool about Australia, I've noticed, is that we talk about propagation, and I love trying to predict. I'm like the Mr. Predict propagation guy. And I've been doing it for my whole 45 years in amateur radio, and so but you guys got something really special going on in Australia. You guys are down there in that part of the world where you guys can long path to Europe, you can short path to Europe or long path. It's like an everyday thing. You guys can go. The long path means a long way around the world. He has the ability to actually get that done. I guess pretty much daily, right?
Yep. So even there was a week or two ago, I was beaming short path US, and to me, depending on the time of the afternoon and where I'm beaming, I generally start off about 80 degrees, which will give me the New York and sort of Florida side of the US, and then as the afternoon progresses, I'll start beaming a little bit further north to get into the West Coast. When I generally hear you guys, I'm beaming about the 55, 60 degrees. But if I'm beaming around there, I still get guys in Europe. I've got Italy Tangos, and I got a guy in a 4 Zulu 5, I think it was, a guy in Greece, or 4 X-Ray 5. I can't remember his prefix, but he was a guy in Greece, or one of those sort of European countries. I can't remember off the top of my head, but and I heard him off the side of the antenna, so I just said, stand by North America, and you turn your antenna around, work the guys, and call for anybody else that can hear you while you're beaming that direction, and then if you don't hear anything, you come back and keep working. There's a station in Puerto Rico, Dario, Killer Papa 4 Delta Alpha Oscar. He calls me every time he hears me, and he's always a really strong signal out of Puerto Rico. So, and I can be beaming 60 degrees, and he's 115 degrees from me. So, and he only runs 500 watts in a vertical. So, perfect QSO every time. Just turn the antenna a few degrees, and it's like he's sitting beside me. And as you said, I can be beaming North America, turn the antenna 40 degrees, and I've got Europe in my back door on the long path. So, and as you know, Cliff, there's one elusive continent, and that's Africa for me. Africa's always hard from VK, and it's only it's not that far off to our west, but there's a couple of operators there, and you'll hear them, but they're very low down, and there's just, again, it's like Australia. There's not many operators in all of that parts of Africa, so they are rare to hear.
Whenever I was working Africa Long Path on 40 meters, which is a great band for Long Path, I would beam right over Australia, and because to hit Long Path Africa, South Africa from Vegas, your beam path is due southwest, almost exactly the same path as Australia or New Zealand, and so we bounce right over you guys. We bounce through the Pacific and then the Indian Ocean and come basically skirt Antarctica, because it's a straight line of sight. I mean, if you lay the map out, if you lay the globe out, you flatten it out. Where we are here in Vegas, you flatten out the world from Vegas. It looks pretty interesting, by the way. But you can see how the path travels, and that's how it does it. So it's interesting that you guys couldn't hear them when we can, and vice versa. We
Yep.
probably couldn't hear those Europeans that you heard. So that's the magic of Mother Nature. She's got her own box of tricks, if you will, and you never know what's going to happen next. And I think we're probably wrapping up a good.
Yep.
We're close to. So I want to thank you very much for coming on the show, and thanks for showing us what you're doing. Now we're going to have you back on the show when you get that 40. The 40 meter. You were working on a 40
Yep.
meter a couple weeks ago.
I am.
And then you get the five element super monster up on a 40-foot boom, right? The 5 element 40. Oh, so 20. I mean.
It's just short of 30 foot. It's 8.8 meters, so it'll be about 27-foot boom.
Okay.
And it's about 21 foot wide. So in the scheme of things, it's nothing like a 5 element monoband on 20 meters. It's quite a lot narrower than that. Same boom length though. You do lose a little bit of efficiency, but I'm on a suburban block. I'm on 3/4 of an acre in a semi-suburban area, so I do have neighbours. I do have to be courteous. But I just touch on one more point about the propagation and Mother Nature. How you said it was a wonderful thing. I generally, again, I sort of said I don't reinvent the wheel. So if the propagation's in one direction, I'm not going to turn and try and work someone else. But it's happened twice to me now, and I was, it still tingles the hairs on my arms every time I talk about it. The propagation drops off onto North America here about 4:30 locals, so it's about midnight in Las Vegas, 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning there. And it's happened twice now where the band's really starting to fall off, and I've heard South Africa twice on the or Africa once, South Africa once as well. So, and I've worked them, both guys run 100 watts and a tri-band antenna, and I've got them 5x5 both ways.
Wow.
So, the thing with propagation is, you can have all the power and the gain in the air as you want, but if you're not pointing at the right direction and you're not listening at the right time, and people say the bands are dead, the bands are never dead. You're just not pointing your antenna in the right spot. So
that's a true story. Yeah, especially 20 meters. That's our most famous band. I mean, that's like our DX band year round, regardless of the sunspot cycle season.
That's right.
So thank you so much for coming on.
Yes.
Sharon, go ahead.
Oh no, it was very interesting. All kinds of good stuff, and now I want to go to Australia.
Heck yeah, man.
There's too many snakes and spiders here, Sharon. You won't like it.
Oh, well, okay, you can keep the spiders, but I kind of like snakes.
Yeah, there's great white sharks in the barrier reef and box jellies, and
bring my stick.
we'll go hang out. We'll go hang out with Corey. I appreciate you very much, and thanks for coming on. We'll have you back on when we get an update from your antennas and or anything else we might use you for. But we'll maybe hear you on the air tonight.
The volume's muted, but as soon as we're done here, I'm going to call North America Short Path.
Okay, got it, man. I'm going home after this, so maybe we'll see you on the air. Okay, have a nice night, folks. This is
see you guys.
Bye, Corey.
Bye. This is Cliff. I'm K5DA once again. This is the Las Vegas DX Foundation. Sharon, our lovely host over here, also is
K7STJ.
K7STJ, and we appreciate you guys coming on and watching the show. And we'll see you guys next week. Have a nice night.